Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the inaugural volume, I should say, of my new series, which is plainly being called Philly Sports from the Mighty Kingdom. Basically, I'm going to be talking to you a little about a weekly series, maybe, talking about the landscape of the Philadelphia sports scene. The Philadelphia Eagles, though, most of that's going to be reserved for the Season of the Fan series that I do, of course, just for the Eagles, being an Eagles fan. But I might touch on a few Eagles topics here and there, from time to time, just to keep it going. You can never talk too much Eagles, right? Particularly after winning a Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. But I thought, it'd be kind of fun to, do a series talking a little more about, not just the Birds, but, our other teams here. Times are getting a little better, though, there's still steps to take with these teams. They got a lot of youth. They have a lot of potential star players, potential superstar players even. And, things are looking up from where they were looking about a year or two ago. Certainly. Of course, we're coming off a big Super Bowl win for the Eagles, and what a tremendous, season they had. And it's kind of hard to top. And I know these teams are, for a while there, I mean, there was just a lot of, winning going on, but now, have cooled off a little bit. The Flyers were red hot for a while. Now they've cooled down. They're playing Columbus tonight at the Wells Fargo Center. They're currently losing 3-1 going to the second period. I know my buddy Mark M does his Season of the Fan series for the Flyers, so I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about with the Flyers. The Sixers, they're certainly getting better, and they're going to be the main topic for this video. And, hey, they got some young talent, some potential superstar talent on the team right now. It is still a process, but they are playing better. Currently, they would be the 6th seed in the playoffs. I'm hoping they move up, but, we'll see. Tough game the other night against the Pacers at home. They're playing tonight at MSG against the Knicks, and then they play tomorrow night at home against the Nets. So hopefully those are 2 wins. We'll see. And of course the Phillies. The Phillies season about to start in another few weeks. There's some excitement. Obviously they have a young core of players, and we all remember the last time they had a young core of players. What happened? Went pretty good. Very excited about the prospects that they have for the future. I like the fact that they brought in Carlos Santana and now Jake Arrieta, 2 guys who have been on teams that have done some winning. Two players that have been in the World Series. Of course, Jake Arrieta beat Carlos and the Indians. A couple years ago when he was with the Cubs. Breaking that curse. And 2 guys that know what it takes to win, know what it takes to put a winner on the field, be a part of a winning team, a winning environment, and hope to help bring that here. New manager now going into this season, Gabe Kapler. We'll see how that works out. Again, I'm excited. I really like the young core of this team, and I think that they can only go up. I really like Scott Kingery, the future second baseman of this team. I've been following him now for a year or so. Actually went to a game last year at Lehigh Valley with my buddy Mark M. and the captain Jason and company Tony. We saw a game there, and Kingery got the game-winning hit. So, it was cool to see that. And I really look forward to seeing what he looks like, in the pros when he gets. He'll probably start the season in the minor leagues, but then get called up at some point. And we'll finally be able to see him, in the big leagues. And, there's a lot of other topics to talk about with the Phillies and all, but you know what? I'm going to save that for down the road. Tonight, I thought for the inaugural vid and volume for this series, I thought I would talk, in each video I'm going to try to talk about, I'll give you the landscape, and I also want to talk about, kind of a hot button topic from time to time. And there's been a big hot button topic now for the past, I'd say, couple months or so for our beloved Philadelphia 76ers. Now, look, obviously the Sixers endeavored years ago when Sam Hinkie was the GM in this process that has taken us through seasons of misery, seasons where we knew the team was not going to be good. Teams that we just had to sit, and watch this team lose game after game after game after game to get ping pong balls, to get up and to have the chance to pick in the top three, the top two, even the top spot in the draft, in the lottery, to get the be in the lottery and draft high. Now they did that obviously because they weren't a very good team, and to have those superstars in the NBA want to come to your team, you got to be good, and you have to show potential to win championships or at least have a chance to get to the finals and such. There's two schools of thought on this. There's the school of thought that, well, this is all you have to do, that you just build in the draft, you bring in a few free agents here or there. It doesn't have to be the top of the top, but basically your drafted guys, the guys that you picked in the draft, that's it. That's really all you need. They become stars, and that's all you have to do. But if you really want to think about what the process is really all about in its entirety, and I think this is something that some people forget. Now, the topic that I'm going to really discuss in this video, because I am a Sixers fan, and of course had to sit through as Chris Carlin, who used to be on WIP now, back in WFAN in New York, called it Tankapalooza, all those years. Look, I saw this team lose a lot of games and go through season after season of losing, and I understood it because I'm a believer in the process, and I understand why they did it, because they did what the NBA had parameters to do. Is it a broke system? Yes, it is. But playing in this broke system, you still got to be able to do it. You got to be able to put a team together that's going to lure some of these star players, superstar players to your team to compete in this league. Otherwise, you're going to be in what's called NBA purgatory, and you see some of those teams that are in it right now. So basically, the biggest hot topic with the Sixers going into the rest of this season, and particularly in the offseason, is LeBron James, who could be a free agent this offseason unless he decides to stay in Cleveland. It was rumored that he had these 4 teams, kind of like a signing day thing with the hats. And he has these 4 teams that he wants to be on, either stays in Cleveland, comes to the Sixers, goes to LA, or goes to Houston. Now, again, this is rumored. Who really knows, right? We do have some inkling that LeBron does have interest in coming to the Sixers for a couple reasons. One is because his agent's the same agent as Ben Simmons, and he knows Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons has been called a younger version of LeBron. Now, will he be a LeBron? Who really knows? It's hard. LeBron's one of those generational players, The other reason, obviously, is Joel Embiid, who, and he's still raw, let's not forget, he could be one of the most dominant big men in the league, in the history of this league. Playing in an era where there really isn't a whole lot of dominant big men playing right now, but we really have a potential to have a real superstar big man in Joel Embiid and, of course, Ben Simmons. And we'll see about Markelle Fultz. It is disappointing he's not playing. Yet again, the Sixers draft a guy that doesn't play his rookie year. I don't know what to tell you on that. That's just ridiculous. But it is what it is. They're still playing pretty good. They have some really nice role players on the team. Of course, Dario Saric, another young player that they drafted some years ago. They picked up some nice, guys in either trade or free agency. J.J. Redick came along, which was really one of the first, players to actually want to come and play for the Sixers. He could have gone to different teams, and he wanted to come here. Ersan Ilyasova brought back. He played well last season before he was traded to the Hawks. He comes back. Bellinelli was brought in. I mean, good players, role players, players who have, in Bellinelli's case, played on teams that won a championship like the Spurs. Redick's, example, he came here after being on the Clippers for all those years, going to playoffs. So, they have some guys that have been there. Some guys who can kind of teach some of these younger players what it takes to win, what it takes to play at a high level. That being said, I will continue to beat the drum as much as I can and champion the Sixers to get LeBron James here this offseason. And there's a few schools of thoughts on why. As I said, I'm a Sixers fan, and I have sat through this team going through losing season after losing season, not making the playoffs, and I understood why. I got it. But it was frustrating. Seeing these other teams that are having success, these other fan bases that get to have a lot of fun. And here we are, waiting for those, waiting for the unicorns, right? Get the draft picks, the players, to draft those players, and they have to come and play well and develop into stars and superstars, right? And some of those players, it seems to have worked out, and some of those players didn't work out, as we know. Nerlens Noel, Jaleel Okafor didn't quite work out. I mean, Nerlens I always thought was a nice player in this league, maybe more as a role player than as a star type player. I don't think it was entirely his fault. I think it just may not have been the right system for him, what have you. I actually wouldn't be opposed to them bringing him back this offseason as a player to come off the bench. He's a pretty good defensive player, for what it's worth. And, you can't have enough of that sometimes. But it obviously didn't work out with Jaleel. The book is still out on Markelle Fultz as to what he can be. I still think he could be a really good player in the league. We have to see him. He has to get his shot back. It's just, but Ben Simmons, JoJo, and we'll see about Fultz. But I think they certainly hit on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid for sure. And Dario Saric, for what he is, a role player. I think they hit on him too. Maybe not to the level as a Ben Simmons or Embiid, but certainly a good player on this team and a good player in this league, who's just getting better. LeBron James, I mean, why would you not want one of the best players in the league? And by the way, he's still going to have another 3 or 4 years of playing at a dominant level. He keeps himself in immaculate shape. Here's a guy who's been in the finals 8 straight years. And I know the Eastern Conference has been down while he's been, doing his thing with either Miami or Cleveland. But to go to the finals 8 straight years, that's just ridiculous. And there are Sixer fans who say they don't want LeBron here because they think that he's going to stunt the growth of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And to that, I just don't understand it. LeBron James is a superstar. LeBron James is the type of player that if you bring him on the Sixers, if he was a Sixer right now, they'd be the top seed in the East. No question about it. And I know you're saying, well, it's the East. The East has some pretty good teams this year. Toronto's having a really good year again. Boston, I know they have some injuries right now, but they're there with Kyrie Irving. And let's not forget, next season they're going to get Haywood back from the injury. You still got to deal with the Washingtons and the Milwaukees and the Indianas and, some of those other teams that are going to be there. They're developing. They're still going to be good going forward. And let's not forget the Sixers right now, and they are raw, but they still have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, 2 players who could be superstars in this league, and they're only going to get better as the seasons go on. Bringing LeBron James here would not hurt them. I mean, people say, well, look what he did. Well, I look what he did. He goes to the finals every year, and he has never really had other players like a simple. I shouldn't say that because Dwayne Wade was very good in Miami, obviously. Kyrie Irving very good in Cleveland. But you talk about the skill set that Ben Simmons has, that Joel Embiid has. I mean, there's no big man that LeBron's ever played with that's like JoJo. Okay, so you bring LeBron James to this, and if you're LeBron James, why wouldn't you want to come here? You bring him to this. You're looking at a potential to be, and it all has to work out. I get that. But you're looking at the potential to be a dominant team, not only in the Eastern Conference, but the entire NBA for a number of years. And as a Sixers fan, sitting through the Tankapalooza, if you will, going through those seasons where we're just hoping for ping pong balls, I want that. I'm a jealous person, okay? I have seen how teams go from being bad to being good. And those teams, they hit in the draft. You talk about the Spurs, you talk about the Golden State Warriors, they certainly hit in the draft. And to their credit, they did. But what did the Warriors do, right? They got Steph Curry, they got Klay Thompson, they got Draymond Green. They go to they win a championship, they lose the next year, and they still get Kevin Durant to play there. Now, does Kevin Durant go there if the Warriors aren't the Warriors? No. Even the Spurs, as much as they touted, doing it in the draft, drafting all these guys, these international players, the most worldly team in the NBA, right? Where our head coach came from, Brett Brown came from the Spurs, right? But what did they do after those years? They got LaMarcus Aldridge on the team. Okay, pretty good star, budding star in the league. They got him at, they got him from Portland to come join them. Obviously, Tim Duncan retired, but they went out and got themselves a very good star player, from another team. It's what you got to do. I understand the concern that some people would have with LeBron James. I don't get it with stunning the growth of Simmons and Embiid, because the one thing that I know is if LeBron comes here and plays with these guys, who better to show young players how to keep their bodies in shape, how to go through the grinds of a regular season and then do it again in the postseason than LeBron James. He's been there 8 straight years. He's won 3 championships. He helped bring 2 titles to Miami, helped bring a much-needed title to Cleveland, and he can certainly do it here. You look at how the Sixers are playing this year. 2 of the biggest problems that they have, and they are young, I get it, they have way too many turnovers, and at this point of the season, even though this is a young team, they're getting tired. You're seeing games where they're getting outworked by the Indiana Pacers this week or by the Miami Heat twice in Miami in recent weeks. They're like running out of steam, and the turnover ratio that this team has is ridiculous. And I get it. They got very young players. They're going to make mistakes. But you get LeBron here, you mean to tell me this team's going to still have the turnovers that they're having? The other problem is because of those turnovers and how the offense, and I know some people complain about the coaching, but the offense, they go through 5 to 6 to 7 minute stretches where they're not scoring. Okay, and that has helped when they have big leads, that helps the other team come back in the game. They've given up big leads at time because of it. Or even in a game where they're behind by a few, it turns to be into a double-digit deficit. And sometimes that's just hard to make up. You get LeBron James to go with Simmons and Embiid, and we'll see about Fultz and Sharts and all these guys. You're not going through 5, 6, 7 minute scoring droughts. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that anymore. All right? You're not going to, hey, who are you going to guard? You going to double LeBron? Okay, we give the ball to JoJo. You going to double JoJo? Okay, we give the ball to LeBron. You get the Ben Simmons. You're not going to go through the big-time scoring droughts that this team has gone through this season. Okay? You're just not. So that gets erased. The turnovers get erased because LeBron, look, it's not like the Cavs or the Heat all those years were big turnover machines. Okay? Hey, every team's going to turn over the ball in the NBA. I don't care who you are. But to the level that the Sixers have done this season, it's laughable. It really is. And we're talking about the differences between wins and losses with some of these turnovers. Just turnover gate that this team has. And I'm talking about multiple possessions in a row where they just turn the ball over. Okay? You get LeBron, that wipes that out because LeBron is a coach on the court. He's gonna put these guys in the best situations they're gonna have to score, and you're not gonna see the turnover margin that we've been seeing game in and game out that leads in a lot of recent cases to losses against playoff caliber teams. You get LeBron, you're that team. You get a seat at the table. You're the team everyone's talking about. Oh, God, the Sixers now with LeBron and JoJo and Simmons. Oh, my God, they're going to be on all these nationally televised games, and we get to be that destination. We get to be that team. And I know the Sixers, as they are right now with Simmons and Embiid, and we'll see about Fultz, could still be a team that obviously the national media is going to be on, that they're going to be on national televised games. I get that, okay? But you get LeBron, forget it. Okay, the other thing about getting LeBron, and like I said, he has another 3 to 4 years of being one of the top players in the league, to go with Embiid, to go with Simmons, to go with, we'll see about Fultz, whatever. But you get him here, you're talking about, and I know there'll be other moves that other teams in the Eastern Conference will make to try to counter it, but come on. They will be the top team in the Eastern Conference, hands down. Even with Kyrie and Haywood in Boston, and Toronto with Philly's own Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and whoever else these teams get to try to balance the power, as it were. You got LeBron James. Okay, you're not topping LeBron James. You get one of the best players in the history of the game to go along with these young budding superstars. It is not a bad thing. And for people who say it's a bad thing, I don't understand. I just don't get it. Do you not want to be dominant Is this what you want to do? Do you want to go through more seasons of, well, let's just hope they grow? I I understand it. It's the fans that don't like the super teams. Okay, I get it, but that's the NBA. I mean, that's what teams do. You got to play in the parameters of what this league is to win and have success. I mean, I just saw the Eagles win a Super Bowl. And like I said, I'm a greedy person. Okay, I saw that. Now I want these other teams all right, now it's time for you guys to, let's go. I saw what Boston had for that stretch. And it started with the Patriots winning the Super Bowls, and then the Red Sox started winning. They erased their curse, and they won 3 World Series titles. The Celtics won a title. The Bruins won a title. All their teams were always in the hunt, all these years. Even now, it just continues. I want that. I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. I have seen 2 championships in my life. The '08 Phillies and now the Eagles winning Super Bowl 52. I saw Villanova win a national title. I've seen 2 championships, okay? There are cities that 2 championships, they get that in like a 3-year stretch, and they don't even have to worry, But I want to be that team. I want the Sixers to be dominant, okay? And I'm not saying they couldn't be over time with JoJo and Simmons. Yes, they can. But let's fast forward the process a little bit, and we get back to that term, the process. Here's the final piece to the process, and this is the part that a lot of people forget. The people who say this isn't the process, this isn't what it's about. Oh, yes, it is. Because you get those draft picks, you get those top picks, those unicorns, if you will, that turn into really great players in the NBA, stars and the superstars and whatnot. But why do you do that? Well, obviously it's to make your team better, but it's also done so that your team becomes a destination for other superstars, already established superstars in the league, a la LeBron James, to want to actually come here. Is LeBron James wanting to come here 2 years ago? No. Does he want to come here now when he sees Simmons and Embiid and he's like throwing bouquets at the Sixers from time to time, in his comments and compliments about them? Yes. So you draft those guys and you build that team to lure the other superstars to want to play with your team. That is the completion of the process. That is the final step. That is why you go through this, to get those players, because you're not getting them otherwise. I don't care how much money you throw at them. You're not getting them otherwise, but you could get them now. The Sixers are a player right now for LeBron James. And it's because of Simmons and Embiid and how they drafted. And they hit on the draft in those players. And even the Markelle Fultz, could be a very good player in this league. LeBron sees that. Wants to come here, wants to help out with this young team, turn them into champions. And I, for one, am not going to be complaining if I'm on Broad Street 2 of the next 3 years, let's say, seeing Sixer championships. With confetti flying. Hey, okay, this team hasn't won since 1983. Okay, I was a little too young for that. So I want to experience this. Okay, and I am excited. I'm excited for Embiid and Sharch and Simmons, and we'll see. I keep saying we'll see about Fultz, but Fultz. I'm excited for the prospects that they have. I like this team. I like how they're built. But I'll tell you what, and I'll ask you Sixer fans, who do you want to see starting every night? Robert Covington or LeBron James in that position? Let's see. And I got another thing. I got another hypothetical out here. And by the way, Sixer fans, the Philadelphia 76ers had some of their best years in franchise history because they went out and got players. Okay? In the 70s, in 1976, when the NBA and ABA merged, the Sixers got a guy by the name of Dr. J. Okay, they got him, they got Bobby Jones, they got George McGinnis, they got a lot of these great players from the ABA that come here and play on the Sixers, and they became one of the best teams in the league. They didn't win until 82-83, but they were the show, okay, back then. And I wish I could have seen some of those teams play, because they were the show. And one of the best teams in the league. Obviously, they didn't win a title back then, but you talk about all those great players to go with some good players they already had, and boom, there they went. They were going to finals, they were making runs, and of course they had Dr. J. Okay? Dr. J came from the New York Nets. Okay? In 82, 83, the Sixers needed a player to get over the hump, okay, because they kept going to the finals and losing. What did they do? They got an MVP named Moses Malone from the Houston Rockets. He came to the team. They won a championship that very next season. Fo. Okay? Won a championship. Swept the Lakers, the team who they couldn't beat before in finals. They swept them. Okay? Fast forward, and this is a big hypothetical. I understand that. This is a big hypothetical. But let's just say, going back in history a little bit, Sixers drafted Allen Iverson, right? My all-time favorite Sixer. He was having a really good career, and then came the opportunity, and we all wanted him. We all wanted him. We all wanted Larry Brown at the time, who was the coach, to draft this guy out of Kansas, was Paul Pierce. Okay, instead they got Larry Hughes. You know, sometimes maybe you just should listen to the fans. All I'm saying. But okay, let's say hypothetical. And again, this is a hypothetical. I'm throwing this out here. Let's say the Sixers drafted Paul Pierce that year. So now you have Allen Iverson and Paul Pierce playing, okay? Similar to what we have now with Simmons and Embiid, okay? Again, hypothetical. And we're a Sixer fan sitting there, and the Sixers are a good team. Maybe they're making trips to the Eastern Finals. Maybe they even go to an NBA Finals and lose. And we're all saying, man, they need another player. Let's get another established player on this team. Let's just say, again, hypothetical. Stick with me here. Sixers have Iverson, they have Pierce. And they have some other good young players, good role players on the team. They're good enough, to compete. Not quite there. San Antonio, Tim Duncan. Of course, the Spurs are winning championships. Tim Duncan's on one of the best teams in the league, but he's coming up on the end of his contract there, and he's looking around the league. And he's saying, you know what, I've had a great time here in San Antonio. We're on a great team. I kind of like what they're doing in Philadelphia. You know what, they have a good young team with 2 superstars in this league. I think I could be the difference to help them over the top. Again, hypothetical. Let's say the Sixers, who could have drafted Tim Duncan if they were lucky enough to get the ping pong ball that year, the year after they drafted Iverson. Let's say Tim Duncan, already established player in the league, comes and joins the Sixers as a free agent. Now you got Iverson, Pierce, and Duncan. And you're going to final, and you're winning champions. They beat the Lakers in 2001. Okay, so you're winning championships. As a Sixer fan, are you complaining right now? Are you saying, oh, well, you know what? We drafted Iverson and Pierce. We should just continue to do this in the draft. We don't need to get players. No, of course you're not. You're happy because they got Allen Iverson, Paul Pierce, and Tim Duncan. And let's say Robert Horry comes along, as Big Shot Bob for the Sixers. They get other players. I mean, look at how the history could have been different if they could have done that. Now let's fast forward to present time. The Sixers have 2 very good young superstar potential players in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And you have a chance this offseason, and it's a chance, I get it, but you have a chance this offseason to bring LeBron James to Philadelphia. Now answer me this. Are you really that upset about it if it happens? I mean, come on. What are we doing? We're all throwing a parade. I mean, are you kidding me? You get LeBron James to go with Simmons and Embiid? I mean, we're drooling. Okay? Because as a basketball fan, as a Sixers fan, you can't ask for much else but to have a team that's going to have a chance to win a championship for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And LeBron James makes Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid even better. And I understand it. There's concerns. I get it. Okay, there's the people that say, oh, look what he did. Kyrie Irving wanted to leave. And, towards the end of Miami, things may have been getting a little sour or whatever. LeBron James is older in the league right now. He's not going to do that. LeBron James is not a team wrecker. Now, I will say this, and this is where the Sixers ownership and general management have to stay strong, because LeBron likes to play GM. He likes to make trades. You can't let LeBron come here and try to trade away Dario Saric or Markelle Fultz or whoever. That can't happen, okay? As much as LeBron likes to play GM on some of these other teams, you can't let that happen. No, LeBron, you're just going to play. So I will certainly agree to that. If he comes here, I don't want him being GM LeBron, because good GM he's not. But I think about it on LeBron's for LeBron. LeBron is the freaking Nick Saban of the NBA, right? He recruits better than anyone. He brings players to play with him, okay? he doesn't really have to recruit that much to come here. He would have to recruit if he goes to the Lakers. He certainly has to still recruit if he stays on Cleveland. Even if he goes to Houston, I mean, CP3 isn't getting any younger, and James Harden is certainly a superstar. He's going to have many good years ahead of him. But you still got to recruit another player to go there. He comes here. This is just a place where all we need is you. Yeah, I mean, you want to get some more role players and whatnot. I mean, it's going to be a different looking team next season with the bench and whatnot. You don't think other players are going to want to come here and play with LeBron James and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid? I mean, the possibilities are endless. And I'm not saying let's just get let's just make the super friends, right? Let's not, okay, now we're just going to get Paul George and no, I'm not saying that. I mean, I will take LeBron. If that's the only move they make and a couple role players here and there to go with him, okay, I'll sign up for it. We still have to see what Markelle Fultz is, who could turn into a star in this league. I mean, again, the possibilities are endless. And I so much want this to happen. You don't even know. Okay? I will just keep championing this. And again, I am a process believer. I had put up with this. I had to go through ping pong palooza all those years. And oh yeah, we lost the game, but that's okay because we're getting ping pong balls. I had to go through that, and I remember that, and it was tough. So I want to get to. I want to get here, okay. And even this season, it's been better, but it's been frustrating. I mean, some of these losses where they're just turning the ball over left and right, now they're tired. I mean, again, LeBron, he comes here, that goes away. LeBron shows these guys how to train, how to keep themselves physically, in great shape, not just in the regular season, but in the offseason. These are the things you got to do to keep your body in shape because it's a long season, 82-game season. The playoffs is like a whole nother season in itself, and who better, again, to know how to take care of yourself than LeBron James? I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. Does he have some flaws? Does he have some faults? Yeah, but you know what? He's a tremendous talent. And this is a town that loves basketball. This is a basketball town, okay? Yes, it's an Eagles town first. It's a football town. I get that. But there are deep-rooted basketball history in this town. When you talk about high school, you talk about college and the Big Five, you talk about the Sixers, pro hoops. We love a great basketball team. And we have been waiting for so long for this team to get good again since the Iverson days. And it's been tough. And I'm here to tell you right now, they get LeBron James, I'm sorry, sign me up 10 out of 10 times. And I don't think it would stunt the growth of Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. I mean, there is only one ball. I get that. Okay, but it didn't seem to hurt the Heat those years. And it didn't really seem to hurt the Cavs when they were winning the championship. I mean, I get it. It's one ball. There's three alpha males out there. I understand that. I get that. But I have seen many great teams like the Warriors, and it just doesn't matter. Okay, they have all these great players, one ball. They distribute it well. They get theirs, and they win. They win. At the end of the day, if you win a championship, that's all that matters. Boys and girls, that is what matters in sports, is winning. Winning championships. How long have we had to wait for the Eagles? And now you see how the Eagles organization, their standpoint after that game, and Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman saying this is the new norm. Making long playoff runs, playing for Super Bowls. This is the new norm here. In Philadelphia. That's awesome. And yeah, they backed it up by winning a championship. But that's what you want to hear. That's what you want your organization to do, to be bold, to have that mentality where nothing should matter less than playing for championships every year. That's and can it happen that way? Obviously not. Even the greatest teams don't play for championships every year, although LeBron, again, 8 straight years in the finals with whatever team he's been on. But the bottom line is, as a fan, I want my organization to give me the best chance to win every year. And after the Eagles won that Super Bowl, and after seeing what the Phillies did in 2008, and by the way, after the Phillies won in 2008, what were they doing? They were getting Ray Halladay. They were getting, Cliff Lee, Hunter Pence. They were making moves. And they only got the one championship. I understand that. But they were in the hunt every year for the next 4 years. They were there. They were one of the it teams in the league for those years. And how fun was that? right? Where every day you had a chance to see, you felt like the Phillies were going to win every game. We had a 102 win season. We saw a perfect game. We saw no hitters. I mean, it was the greatest era in Phillies baseball. We got to witness that. And now we have a chance to do that with the Sixers. And you mean to tell me that there are people, I don't want that? Why? Why don't you want it? Oh, because of the young guys. Okay. I'm seeing the young guys out in the court right now. I'm seeing them turn the ball over left and right. I'm seeing them get tired at this time of year where you have to be strong and mentally focused and ready. That's what I'm seeing. And I know it's a young team and they still have to learn. And yeah, I mean, the coach has some learning to do too. But you get LeBron, you have a coach on the court. And you have one of the best players in the history of this game right here. We never got to see Michael Jordan play in this town. Okay? We never got to see Kobe play in this town as a Sixer. He played at Lower Merion. But we never got to see him play as a Sixer. We never got to see Shaq play here besides being visitors. We have a chance this offseason to have one of the greatest players ever to play this game play for your team, your 10-9-8 76ers. And you mean to tell me you don't want that? I'm here to tell you I want that 10 out of 10 times. Sign me up. I will ride a bicycle to Cleveland and pick him up if I have to. And I don't ride bikes very often. But I will ride a tandem bicycle to Cleveland and pick him up, okay, if he wants to play for the Sixers. Boy, I guess I just had a lot to say. I'm sorry. But I feel very passionate about how these teams are improving. And I'm happy about that. I love what the Eagles did. I love what they've been doing. And being that alpha male and making moves. And, that's what you want to see. Right? As a fan, this is all you can ask for. And for the Sixers, damn it, you have a chance to get LeBron James this offseason. You go get him. You make sure that happens. Bring him to Philadelphia because Philly wants LeBron James. We want to win championships. And yes, we're happy to have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid too. And that's just going to add to it. It's going to make them better, more better than they are now. And I can't be more excited for it if it happens. I really can't. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Because I've always wanted to be that team. I've seen great teams play for many years. I've seen all these great teams play in the NBA, and I want that. Again, I'm a jealous person by nature. Okay? Anyhow, that's going to wrap up this inaugural Volume 1 of Philly Sports from the Mighty Kingdom. I know I went about 38 minutes. I guess I had a lot to say. Most of the vids will be a little shorter, I promise, as much as I can make it, although I do like to talk sports. Listen, we have a great tournament going on right now. Villanova's playing tonight. I believe they're winning. I mean, look, a 16 seed has never beaten a 1. Let's hope that doesn't happen tonight. I don't have a score update in front of me, but the score is a little hidden over there, but I believe they're winning. But anyhow, hopefully they give us a nice run. I know Penn lost today to Kansas. Look, they played well. I mean, it was a tough game. Kansas. It would have been very tough to beat them, but Penn gave them a good game. So enjoy the tournament. Let's go, Nova. V for Villanova, V for victory. I saw them win a championship. Still have that picture up on the wall of Chris Jenkins' three-pointer to beat North Carolina. It was an awesome moment, and we're hoping to have another nice deep run this year, for Villanova. And, of course, as I said, the Sixers, look, I'm going to enjoy them this season, get to the playoffs, have some fun. For the first time, get to see them in the playoffs for a number of years, right? No more ping pong balls this year, although they do get the Lakers' first round pick. So that's cool. But again, this offseason, priority number 1: bring LeBron James to Philadelphia. Bring him here. Let's let the good times really get going. Phillies, again, spring training still getting underway. The season's a few weeks away. Looking forward to it. I think they're going to be, a better team this season, record-wise. I mean, maybe even contend for a wild card spot. Who knows, right? Flyers, got to play better. No doubt about that. Got to play better. These are big games tonight against Columbus. More big games coming up, this weekend. Obviously, they got Carol. By the way, the schedule makers did them no favors. This weekend they got Carolina in the evening, and they got a 5 o'clock game the next day against Washington. I mean, it is home. I mean, at least it's home against the Capitals. But my goodness, they're playing the night before, and then they come back for the back-to-back a 5 o'clock game against the Caps. I don't know. But anyhow, we'll see. There are big points out there they have to get, and we'll see what happens. But thanks for giving me, over almost 40 minutes of your time. Again, the inaugural video, Volume 1 of Philly Sports from the Mighty Kingdom. we're talking today again. The main topic was the Sixers getting LeBron James this offseason. I'm really hoping it happens. We'll talk more about that a little later on in the coming months, and we'll see what happens. There's a good chance, and we'll see what happens. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the sports. Enjoy the sports scene here in Philly. We have a lot of things to look forward to. It's going up. It's getting better. And it all started with a Super Bowl championship by our beloved Eagles. All right, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next vid.